There was a man named Daniel who found himself in the throes of desperation. He felt lost, abandoned, and invisible in a world that seemed to have moved on without him.
One night, overwhelmed by his circumstances, Daniel remembered the words, "Call on the Lord, he will come to your rescue." He closed his eyes and whispered softly, "Lord, if you are real, please help me."
Suddenly, a calming presence filled his heart, and he knew he was not alone anymore.
Daniel recalled Psalm 50:15, which says, "Call on me in the day of trouble, I will deliver you, and you will honor me."
He recognized that Jesus was waiting for him to reach out, ready to rescue him in his darkest hour.
With renewed faith, Daniel called out again, "Jesus, I need you now more than ever."
The moment he did, a peaceful warmth enveloped him, dispelling his fears. He remembered the story of David crying out from distress, and how God responded swiftly to his call. David had said in Psalm 18:6, "In my distress I called to the Lord, I cried to my God for help." Daniel pictured David's voice rising from his temple, reaching God's ears, and knew he could trust the same power. He visualized how God parted the heavens and descended to rescue him, just as described in Psalm 18:9. Dark clouds seemed to gather in his mind, but he clung to the assurance that Jesus was in control. He believed that Jesus would come like a flash, swiftly delivering him from danger.
As David wrote, he shot his arrows and scattered the enemy. Daniel felt courage swell within him.
He sensed that Jesus was drawing him out of his deep waters, just as the psalmist described. Daniel thought about the great bolts of lightning that routed the enemies in Psalm 18:14 and found strength in the imagery. He understood that calling on the Lord in times of trouble was the wisest choice he could make. His heart was filled with gratitude as he remembered to offer thank offerings to God. Fulfilling his vows to the Most High, he knew that sacrifice of gratitude was important when God answered his call. In that moment, Daniel made a vow to serve the Lord faithfully, no matter his circumstances. He promised himself to call on Jesus every time he felt overwhelmed or lost, because he trusted that Jesus would respond. Just as Psalm 50:15 declared, he believed that with Jesus in his corner, there was no need to fear destruction or death. Daniel pictured Jesus coming swiftly like lightning, rescuing him from every danger. He thought about how David had said God reached down from on high and took hold of him. That image resonated deeply with Daniel, giving him hope and reassurance.
He remembered the part where David said, "He drew me out of deep waters," and felt the truth of God's mercy.
Daniel knew that he could be smart like David by calling on his almighty Lord in times of distress. He understood that reliance on Jesus was a demonstration of divine wisdom and faith. He felt a renewed sense of purpose and confidence in God's power to deliver him. From that day forward, Daniel made a habit of calling on Jesus whenever trouble arose. He was convinced that Jesus would come to his rescue, just like in the stories of the Psalms. He realized that Jesus' response time was unrivaled and his potential endless. Daniel understood that his faith in calling on Jesus was essential for surviving life's storms. He knew that trusting the Lord would turn his despair into hope and his fear into peace. Every challenge became an opportunity to call on the Lord and witness his mighty hand in action. Daniel's life changed as he embraced the truth that Jesus is always waiting to be called in our most desperate moments. He learned that prayer and faith are powerful tools to overcome any obstacle, and he was grateful for the divine assurance found in the scriptures, inspiring him to keep calling on his Lord. Daniel's story became a testimony to others about the importance of turning to Jesus when in need.